Now, gosh darn it, we just had Uncle John. Come
He's
back.
there somewhere. He's just real dark.
Okay, he ain't that dark. Okay, until Uncle John comes back, welcome to Grumpy Old Nerds. This is the Amayou show where I'm not quite that old. At least that's what I'd like to think in my head. To the this way, that way.
No, you had it right.
Okay, we have the Red Bone Assassin DJ. Say hey, DJ.
What up, though? Uncle John in the house.
And now we have Uncle John, so he's back now. So I'm gonna let him go ahead and take back over.
Well, good day, good people. Once again, you've got the Grumpy Old Nerds in your ear. As always, I'm Uncle John. And as always, we have our friends with us. Introductions have already been said, but we're going to do it again. Right there is Cuzzin Amayou. And down there is Uncle DJay. Hi, everybody.
Hey, hey. Happy
Man,
Thursday.
she had it handled. I thought she gonna take your job, bro.
Yeah, yes, that's a DEI hire. So anyway,
Ooh.
That means I'm getting fired. Apparently.
we are talking about Ironheart first and foremost today. The new Disney Plus original miniseries that highlights the character of Riri Williams, who has taken up the mantle from Tony Stark and his Iron Man suit, and is the story of a African American young lady who is a genius and who decides, you know what, I'm going to create a suit like Iron Man and try to be a hero, and it goes kind of left from there.
That's legit.
So, Cuzzin Amayou, let's see what your reaction is to this story so far. We got the first 3 episodes. Was it yesterday or Tuesday?
Yesterday.
Yesterday, yeah. We got the first 3 episodes.
Or the day before. I don't know. It was this week, okay?
Yeah. Come
Put
on.
me on full screen.
Oh shit.
I need to summon all the black girl magic in all the lands. Okay. Did it slip my edges down? Okay, here we go. Okay, so I loved it. Okay. Now, someone in the peanut gallery, who shall remain nameless since they're not here today, said that it was slow. And I'm wondering where is slow? Is slow in the room with us? Because I didn't feel like it was slow. They gave us a little bit of backstory with Riri and her getting. Okay, spoiler alert in case y'all didn't know. We spoiling stuff. Okay, they gave a little bit of background with why she got kicked out of the college. And I like how they're kind of tapping into mental health a little bit, because there's some panic attacks that happen throughout the episodes. They introduce our villain, even though he kind of comes off as not quite a villain in the beginning. We got 2 heists already, one successful, and they was all celebrating, having a good old time, having money showers, make it rain. And then one that didn't quite go so well because Riri effed it up, which we'll get into all of that. But to me, I'm like, this is everything that I needed in 3 episodes. It wasn't slow to me. It built things up the way they needed to be built up. It gave us a little bit of background information. So I enjoyed it. Okay. I enjoyed it. So that's all I have to say. Although I'll probably say more when some other people speak. Go, Riri.
What she said.
So you enjoyed it?
Yeah, I mean, you pretty much ran the whole motherfucker down. No, it was very good. As a matter of fact, they cliffhangered my ass and shit, and I'm just like, I was sick about that because that 3rd episode was really good, and I love the way she commands the screen. Like she's believable. Like I'm watching Riri, you know. So I like that. I like that. Yeah, it pulls you in. It pulls you in. And that's what she said.
That grip. John, why are you muted again?
No, he's just a soft-spoken brother. That's all.
No, I don't. That's not what I'm hearing. I'm hearing zero spoken brother.
Yeah, I know. He ain't got the mute button ain't on. It's just
He's
you
trying
know
to switch to his good mic. Just use the headphone mic, sir.
or something. I don't know. If I didn't care.
Okay, unmute.
Yeah, do your hand like this. If I didn't
Is that
care.
better?
There we go.
Much better. Much
All
better.
right.
There you go.
The process for me of introducing Riri, introducing her supporting cast, introducing the villain, or anti-hero, whatever you want to say. Yeah, that's a good question. That's a good question. You could tell a white man invented that character. Um, the because ain't the legal name ain't Riri, man. He saw Rihanna and was like, you know what? Let me borrow that.
Who
Like
said Riri was her legal name though?
the 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 question was
It
asked.
never come. It never comes up.
The question was asked. So anyway,
Okay, all
the
right.
process of the beginning arc for the journey for this character is outstanding to me. I dug it. I really did. I
Mm-hmm.
think that so here's something that was brought to my attention, right? My son, who watched the I forget which series it was, Captain America: Brave New World. Oh, Uncle Percy in a suit and tie.
All right now.
So right. Uncle Percy's double dipping tonight.
Yeah, he's taking us to the prom and shit.
So anyway, my son watched Captain America: Brave New World, a film that I enjoyed. I thought it was fair. I didn't think it was bad. I didn't think it was great. I thought it was okay. But my son said that he thought it was terrible. He found the character of Sam Wilson to be corny. He thought Sam came off as corny. He thought Sam came off as someone who didn't command authority. And
Can I tell you? Can I tell you a secret?
hold on. Let me finish this thought.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
He thought the character of Sam didn't pull off the authority needed for Captain America, and that begat a discussion between the two of us. That hold on, I got someone who's trying to make a cameo right quick. Come say hi.
Hey, cute little baby. Hi.
Bye bye. Go find your mama. So the problem is that for those of us of a certain age and a certain skin tone, we're happy to see these characters on screen.
Mm-hmm.
There's a fine line between enjoying a TV show and just happy to be there. And
True.
I've been not worshiping, but I've been watching these characters. I've been admiring these characters since the late 1900s. so the mid to late 1900s, right? So there comes a point where, for me, seeing them on screen, whether it be TV or the movies, I get excited. I'm excited to just be there. But we're also dealing with a generation who grew up with this, who know life with this. We remember life before this. And we're with a generation now who has been privy to this all of their lives. So they're not just happy to see a black character on screen. They want that character to have substance. They want that character to be intelligent. They want that character to embody everything that they're looking for. Whereas someone like me might just be happy to say, ooh, I got black people on screen and they don't die in the first half. You know what I'm saying? So for me, I sometimes wonder, was this good? Or am I just happy to be here? You know what I'm saying? Like, is it just that I'm happy to see these characters on screen, or is it something that's actually a very good piece of creativity? Because I dug Captain America and the Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Love that series.
Right. I thought it was phenomenal.
I love this so far, right? I thought Captain America: Brave New World, because Captain America: Brave New World had so many haters. Like, people hated that film. And people didn't like Falcon and the Winter Soldier. And I don't see how, if you're a fan of this particular genre, you didn't like. There were faults, yes, but I can't see how you just didn't like it. There's the disdain that some people have for it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? What are you all's thoughts on that?
Okay. First, quick question. Did you say it was your son that you were talking about?
Yes.
Did he see Falcon and Winter Soldier, and did he also feel the same way about that?
Yes.
Wow, that's very.
Oh, he didn't like that? Falcon Winter Soldier.
It's not that he didn't like it. Sam Wilson came off to him as corny. You know
Okay,
what I'm
but
saying?
you weren't corny though. You can't just be like, oh, it's corny. I mean,
Well,
like
I had to explain to him that the character of Captain America kind of that's we know we're on time when that train goes by. The character of Captain America kind of is corny. Steve Rogers was a cornball to his heart. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Sam Wilson ain't somebody who, gonna walk up with you with his pants sagging and a do-rag on.
right. That's what he's wanting.
And yeah, he's not Luke Cage.
Right.
He's not hip,
Exactly. Sorry. But okay, going back to my original point, but does our craving these characters, does that put our opinions already in the realm of we're gonna like this no matter what?
Well,
I don't think
so. So that segues to me and what I was gonna tell you earlier.
Okay.
Just to throw it out there, but which might have helped a little bit. But so everything Sam Wilson before Falcon and the Winter Soldier, all of that, loved it. Great direction, great writing, the whole deal. Matter of fact, him and Bucky, that whole series, worked for me. Him and Bucky just have great chemistry,
Yeah.
And so even when the moment that he got the shield, and Bucky was like, "Yo, man, if he didn't think you deserved it, you wouldn't have it," that type of deal.
Yeah.
That so I actually I don't have anything against the new Joker, the little sidekick, but I hate that but I hate that Bucky and Sam aren't hanging anymore because they had that rapport. They had that Iron Man, Tony Stark and oh boy, Cheeto, what's his name? The Colonel or whatever.
James Rhodes.
Rhodey, yeah. They had that vibe. You know what I'm saying? They had that vibe. So when you see them, I'm expecting to see the other one. And I couldn't stand it. It sucked. The Brave New Heart. Yeah, Brave New World. It sucked to me because he's right. They don't have the same chemistry, and like, dude is like hero worshiping. Like, oh my God, I'm so glad to be. I'm number two. I'm the sidekick to and I love this guy, and it's just too much. And then I don't know, Harrison Ford, Red Hulk. That. I love Harrison Ford, but Red Hulk, that whole deal, and I don't know. It just didn't work for me.
So
it didn't work.
So you're saying, in spite of it being a black lead in a superhero film, you just didn't like that movie at all?
I just didn't like it, and I love and then I didn't like the fear that they put into my boy, the old man. You know what I'm saying? That was heartbreaking. That was like hard to watch. Don't put me. I don't want to go back to jail. Blah blah blah. I'm like, man, this is fucked up. It's just, I don't know, man. It just was depressing.
So for you, it was actually the opposite, because you were happy that the characters were there.
Yeah.
You don't feel that they were represented correctly.
They were not. They not at all. It was just. It was depressing. It was just. Like, I didn't like it. But Ironheart, whole different story. But what I was gonna say is, like, I agree with you generationally. I mean, back in the day, everybody used to rave about Frank's Place. Frank's Place was boring as fuck, but it was good to see black people with a black couple on television.
Frank's Place was, I disagree with you on that. We'll have that debate later.
I'm just saying, but it was, as I was a kid. As a kid, it was boring. But
real quick, Frank's Place was a sitcom starring Tim Reed back in the 80s.
Tim and Daphne Reed, yeah.
Okay, back in the 80s.
Daphne.
About this guy who inherits it's a restaurant, right, or a bar or something like that.
Something like that, yeah.
So
I wish they would bring it back so I could give a grown man perspective, because I was a kid. I wish I could find it. You know, same thing with That's My Mama. You know, I need to see That's My Mama again. You know what I'm saying?
What's
Okay.
happening?
I can't do that. I can't do that's my mama with you.
I don't think I want to do that.
But Nicole, so Nicole, we're talking about Ironheart. What are your first impressions?
I'm gonna eat some more while you give your impression. Go ahead.
Of course,
So,
of course.
actually, I only got to see a portion of it, and I really can't say that I have much to say about it, other than the fact that it is nice to see that they put a nice, pretty young black girl in the midst of things. But other than
Auntie
that,
Nicole, you didn't do your
I
homework.
don't. I no, I didn't get it. Excuse me, I got life, but
Oh,
life
well,
got in the
excuse.
way.
Sorry.
None of the rest of us
Uh,
do. You got a life
all
with
right,
that,
I'm
with
about to
that
say,
dog.
damn.
You got a life with that
Yeah.
dog peeking over her shoulder in the mountains.
He
I
looking.
resemble everyone.
No, I'm just messing with you. But no, I mean, but the thing is that all I can say is the fact that I appreciate that they are giving black people more roles. The only thing is I did see some of the reviews and they were mixed reviews um, about the show. So let's
Don't
just
believe
hope.
him. It's awesome.
Is it okay? So I
Mixed
Yeah.
mean,
reviews.
it's
And
I
that
mean,
and that's kind of what leads into some of what we were talking about, because I was explaining to Amayou and DJ that, you know, generationally, there are some young people who look at these characters on screen and they're just like, okay, this is cornball, this isn't cool. Whereas we may look at it from the perspective of all of our lives we've been looking for this. And you said
right?
something a little bit to this point,
Yeah.
where all of our lives we've been watching this type of stuff on TV
Mhm.
and film, and we were looking for representation. Now
Yeah.
we have the representation. Is it really good, or are we just happy to see us up on the screen?
Well, the biggest part I like about this anyway is that it's not that whole, you know, it's not like a love story and all of that kind of stuff.
Oh,
We actually are showing the level of intelligence that is capable that we have and always have had. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's just has yet to be touched in media because we were never really supposed to be seen as these people, these smart people, and so on. So I actually appreciate it because technically she's as smart as your boy. You know what I'm saying? If you ask me, what's his
right.
name? Tony Stark. Yeah. So it's like she gives him a run for the money. So that's what I appreciate about her character. But I mean, I'm just hoping that this generation does appreciate it because unfortunately, I hate to say it, this generation is more looking at things that's fun. That's looking at, anything that has to deal with shopping and all this other whatever stuff out there. So hopefully they get to appreciate this a lot. Well, I know we
So
do, but
so as,
Can I
as go ahead.
can I ask a question real quick? Have y'all seen that meme of the white guys standing up and the finish line is like right in front of them and it's just like nothing's in front of them, and then the black woman is like kneeling because she's got like obstacle course of like barbed wire and stone and all
mm-mm,
kind of shit in front of her. And it's
no.
like, this is you should see that meme, but basically the gist of it is like he can walk straight to his finish line
Yeah.
and she's got to,
Mm-hmm.
go through all this
Of
shit
course.
just to get,
Mm-hmm.
same distance. And I love that in this series, more than a few times, she makes the comment that, well, yeah, a lot of people compare me to Tony Stark, but Tony Stark had every advantage in the world to
Mm-hmm.
get to where he is, and he
Mm-hmm.
had the billions to prove that his genius was,
Right.
he could do what he needed to do. Here it
Mm-hmm.
is. I'm out here, I'm struggling to get a sandwich at the corner store,
Mm-hmm.
whatever, and I gotta make this shit work, and nobody's giving me anything, so I gotta hustle and I gotta do some shit on the side, and I gotta go through all of this just to get even us, on the path to
Yeah.
what he was already given.
Yeah.
So I love that part of it.
Well, actually, I'm glad you brought that up, because that brings up another critique that I read of this show, and this is actually from some black people, because we just are never satisfied. Um, There is, yeah, I know. I'm a catch up on
Crabs,
somebody too.
crabs in the barrel,
But
crabs.
there was something that was said to the effect of Riri is not the role model we need for our black girl.
And that's
And
exactly
the
what I
reason,
was talking about. Jeez.
the reason, yes, she's smarter. He is dead and decomposing. Thank you, Mario, for pointing that
Yeah,
out.
thank you.
The issue that they have with Riri is that she basically got kicked out of school, and now she's stealing for the money for her suit. And just real quick, I was curious as to how Amayou, I'm a go to you first because I love the fact that you're pretty much just twisting your face all up.
Yeah.
But, you know, they kind of have a point, a little bit of a point. Like Luke Cage. So we're either desperate and need money, which in the Falcon and the Winter Soldier, Sam went to a bank to get a loan and they denied him. So, you know, black folk just can't get no money.
Right.
Or
He's like, I'm a motherfucking Avenger.
let me finish. Either as black people, we're either desperate and looking for scratch, or we're kings and queens of an African nation. there's no
middle
in
ground.
between. There's no in between. But come on, Amayou.
Okay, come on, bring me on full screen. Okay. Let me summon the black girl magic again. Okay.
You know what?
No, okay, I'm gonna be serious. I understand what they're saying. However, it can't just be like a quote unquote regular everyday story. Like if she didn't have any, if she was just still in school and everything was great, like what would that story be? You know what I mean? Or if she happened to inherit, millions from a grandmother she never knew or whatever, like that wouldn't make for as good of a story. And sometimes it's just about the story. Like if she wasn't struggling, it'd just be like, oh, this is just a Tuesday. Like, so there has to be something. So I get what people are saying about her getting kicked out of school. But as many have said before me, Black people are not a monolith. It's some people that went that way, whether it was dealing drugs or boosting or whatever that it is, that had to go that way. And there's some people who decide to go to college and take out the student loans and not getting them paid. Like we're on a whole spectrum. So don't be mad that this happened to be Riri's story. And I'm gonna find out what her real name is so I can call her. Maybe
her real name has never, I don't even think, and I wish Rod was here, but I don't think her real name has been
Rihanna. I'm gonna find out. I'm gonna investigate.
You know what though? Okay, let me say something else though.
Come on.
Can I get the big screen and shit?
Oh shit.
What's up?
Here we go.
I mean, I don't mind looking at them. But anyway, what I was gonna say is it just seems like we can't get reparations nowhere, not even in the motherfucking Marvel universe and shit. Because I mean, okay, Tony Stark recruited everybody, and you mega rich, and you ain't gonna kick down. You ain't gonna. They saved the world like twice and shit. You ain't gonna hook up your people and shit. A little stipend, a little bonus gift, something, anything, even in the will. I mean, like or whatever, something. And then Wakanda recruited Riri. So now you talking about you gonna buy these buildings and you're gonna hook them up and all of this at the end of Black Panther, but you can kick down Riri a little something for helping y'all out. I mean, they did. Wait a minute, what happened to the Barracuda? Didn't they fuck up the Barracuda?
Who the Barracuda? I don't know that.
From the Black Panther when the sisters went to go rescue Riri or something, when they went to go get her, and they they didn't kidnap her, but they went for her help or whatever the fuck. Anyway, they entered Riri's life, and went and got her.
Yeah.
The spy from Black Panther they went to get her, and so they know she broke, and they Wakanda, and they got all this money. Couldn't Auntie, like say, well, thank you for helping us out. We're sorry about your Barracuda. Here's some, here you go. I mean, nobody helped out Riri. Not even Tony Stark.
Slid a
when he
couple of
realized
vibranium breaks to flip.
when Tony Stark realized her genius, when Black Panther and the crew,
She,
looked for her,
she,
nobody hooked up Riri.
she literally helped them fend off an invasion from the Atlanteans
Mhm.
Yeah.
and then sent her home.
Fun.
They said,
And
go
they
home.
sent her ass home. They sent her ass
Yeah,
home. Like,
yeah,
thank you.
yeah. Thanks
You
a lot.
guys, you ever saw that TV show? And I'm gonna bear with me. It's a point that I'm trying to make. Anyway, that TV show called Scandal, and what's her name?
Never seen it, but I know
Washington,
it.
Kerry Washington,
Yeah.
Hmm.
played the lead role. She
You mean
had
that
her
that little
dad.
that little that little tiny show on the WB
Yeah,
or whatever?
I forget the name of the actor that played her father. He's actually very, very
Joe
popular. He's got
Morton.
like,
Joe
yeah,
Morton.
he played a fantastic black father trying to push his daughter to understand. And one of the things that he said that even, I mean, and I'm sure many people said it, but the way he said it was just so profound. He says, remember, you have to work twice as hard in order
Right,
to just get a fraction of what
right.
everyone else has. And the point is that when you're working hard, sometimes and like Mario said, yeah, it kind of sucks they had to write her as a thief and everything in the beginning, and everything like that. But the thing is that they're also using that as a catapult for her success, so to speak, later. You know what I'm saying? This is what's supposed to build her character or whatever it
Right,
is later
right,
on and
right.
such. And I know she knows it's wrong, you know what I'm saying, and such, but it's like that's part of the way the world is being written now. When you watch TV shows, you have to do something bad in order to have all this good to happen later. You follow me? And that's the part that kind of it waters it down a little bit. But I'm
Yeah,
hoping that they end up bringing it from that. Like that's not what she's remembered for, because it sucks. I mean, it seems like a lot of times, a lot of the stories that have to do with black leads and so on like that in the movies and everything, it always has to be some sort of trauma porn or something like that. That's
yeah,
what's the
yeah.
catapult of that
Well,
character.
even Spider-Man in the comic books did underground fighting to get some extra loot to help out.
So, and I
That's a
mean,
good
Yeah,
point.
and
take
that's the
That's a
thing.
good
a
point.
Hmm.
non-black, apparently.
Hmm.
If she stayed in Wakanda, I'm sure they would have hooked her up with a lab. Once she left for America, they were like, shrug. Yeah. Once she left, they were like, no, you going back to the white people. That's all
you
you.
know, deuces. And think
Well,
Um,
about
they
it.
will
They
come
got
with
mad at
vibranium
Wakanda.
bricks.
They got mad at Wakanda because, well, think about it. Black people too. You could have helped out during slavery and all this other kind of stuff, supposedly.
Oh yeah,
You
oh
know what I'm
yeah. But
saying?
I like
You
I
had
like that
all of
part.
this technology
I
and
I
you
like
did
that part
nothing with
though.
it, but
Right,
stayed quiet. You know what I'm saying? So
right.
it's like it's a two-edged sword in a way. What are you supposed to do? Type of thing. So
Yeah. But they also addressed that a little bit. It was like, well, shit, we were selling each other. So I mean, whose side were we gonna take?
one thing I think people are missing
What's
is
it?
that for all of the bad decisions that she's making, it's all cascading down on her. You know what I'm saying?
mhm.
Like
Right.
and again, we spoil shit on the show, but I'll try not to spoil it too precisely. There's a character that dies directly because of her. She created an AI of her dead best friend. This one, this is
Natalie.
when I knew that I loved this show. Right,
Mhm.
her stepfather and her best friend were killed in a shootout because they're black people, of course.
Yeah, basically.
Drive by.
Um,
Trauma porn. But
and yeah, trauma point exactly.
mhm.
And she creates this AI of her dead best friend. When her mom finds out that the AI is her dead best friend, mom then comes to Riri and says, "Can you make an AI of your stepdad?"
Oh boy.
Right,
I thought that
right.
was phenomenal.
Mhm.
I loved
Oh,
that.
that was great.
Mhm.
That was
I
great. That was a
loved it.
great, yeah.
Mhm.
But the
Yeah.
thing is, now the key point is that um, she didn't set out
Mhm.
to
Definitely.
make an AI of her best friend.
Mario, you
She
crazy.
just hooked up them electrodes, and because that
That's what
was, I mean,
mom
that's part of her trauma.
Yeah.
You know that I love that. Her brain, her psych, you know,
Right. It's like
her psyche. Her psyche is like, this is the AI that you need. Like, you don't know that
Yeah.
this is who you need, but this is who you need.
Mm-hmm.
So, you're gonna hook this up to your brain to make an AI. Okay, well, we got you. This is who you need. And
Yeah.
even her mama said that, man, listen, she's got the soul, she's got she's got it. Like, that's perfect.
Yeah.
Can you do can you do daddy for me? Can
Right.
can
but
you
that was a very real emotion, and I thought
very
that I was digging it, definitely. But that
very
drew me in even more emotionally. I was like, oh fuck, that and the fact that her mama fine. But we'll look past that. So we're
Hey,
all
they got my girl in it. They got Cree Summer in it. So
yeah, Chris Summer
Right.
had the camera.
I heard their voice. I was like,
Rugrats.
So yeah, definitely. I would suggest it. I think we're all on one accord in saying that we suggest this. Ignore the negative reviews.
ignore them,
Everything that's being said
man. Listen,
about it. Just go ahead and watch it and judge for yourself because
I'm so hurt by the cliffhanger because I was like, ooh,
Was that
and I was like,
28 days,
no,
28 years?
no,
yeah. So let's
28,
do this.
whatever. I'm not watching.
Let's go
28
ahead.
reasons I'm not watching that shit.
Let's go ahead and take a break, and when we come back, I will explain to everybody why I want to beat Amayou up.
Ooh,
DJ.
damn. After these messages,
I'm
we'll be
Switzerland.
whooping ass.
I'm
Or maybe
Switzerland.
Maybe.
Well, we'll stay here. Okay, so we'll stay here. Mel probably went to sleep.
Oh, that's true. She nods out. It's the heron. The heron, they do
You
it to
know
you.
what? Stop.
Oh, and
I mean, you can't run as many.
Hold
Go
on.
ahead.
Before we go to 28 years later, I also want to say also the fact that this series takes place in Chicago.
Mhm.
Yes,
It's spectacular.
yes,
I love it.
yes,
Oh,
yes.
okay, go.
So we're gonna stay here.
No,
because,
we're gonna do our commercial now.
Yeah.
We are
No,
ready.
let's just.
She said she was sorry.
So let's do it
We know she's sorry.
Ooh, she about to get started.
But we're gonna stay. We're gonna stay here. And just
We gonna stay here.
we're gonna stay here.
We ain't got no clips and no shit like that.
No. Amayou organized a group of people to go see the film 28 years later.
I have a movie group, yes.
And I went. And this was one of the wackest films I've ever seen
What?
in my life.
Okay, can I just say something real fast? Can I just say something real fast?
Yeah, go ahead.
My FYP on TikTok keeps talking about the 28 inches later. So I'm trying to understand. Okay, that's all I've been seeing. Like, cause I mean, scary movies and stuff pop up on my FYP on TikTok, and apparently there's. I didn't get to see the movie, but apparently there's a zombie that's out there hitting you without his hands. But go ahead anyway.
Damn.
So, I'm gonna let Amayou start this segment.
I didn't see it, but whoa,
with her
okay.
review and all the other shit.
Best part about the movie.
About the movie. Go ahead,
Okay.
Amayou. And I know she was distracted as well.
Yeah, this is my 28 years later poster that I got.
Uh oh. Ruh-roh.
I mean, I would think if there was a
zombie.
I would think if there's a zombie out there slinging it, that you would be happy.
Okay, let me get into the
What's up?
Okay. Let's start with there were two really great movies. One was called 28 Days Later, and one was called 28 Weeks Later. Okay, and at the end of 28 weeks later, they done saved the boy, and they was gonna make some type of vaccine or something to help cure the stuff, right? Right. That don't have nothing to do with this.
Okay.
Nothing. They used it from when the zombies was running, but it ain't had nothing to do with this.
Okay.
Let me. Okay.
Woo.
We had this random story of a boy trying to save his mom, because she went cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, and ain't no doctors on the island because they on some island in England, British, I don't know. They're on some island.
Mm.
There's a little pathway of coral that whenever the tide is low, it's uncovered and you can walk on over and go to the main island. Where apparently that's where all the zombies are still at. So you got a safe island, you got the main island. Apparently the zombies, what is it called? Evolved.
Uh-oh.
And then it's also people that done devolved.
Uh-oh. No, that always happens.
And they ain't explained none of this other than that's what happened in 28 years, I guess. So you got a little white boy that's like, I'm gonna save my mama because he ain't got nothing else to do. So he going on over to the island and bring his crazy mama with him. They discover this doctor that's apparently been chilling on the island. Okay, he ain't get got. He been over there just discovering stuff, experimenting and stuff. Maybe he might have impregnated a zombie. We don't know. We don't know who the zombie's baby daddy is. Is it a pregnant zombie though? Yeah, it's a pregnant zombie, and it gave birth.
Whoa.
Okay, and his birth apparently the protected it, and it's just a normal baby. The head looked a little bit weird to me though. The head looked a little misshapen. I don't know if it came out of zombie cookie. I don't know. But I like the baby was fine.
Okay.
Whole bunch of stuff happened. I'm not gonna get into all the details, but apparently Cillian Murphy, who's the star of the first one, he produced this. And also,
really?
It's part of what's going to be a trilogy, like 3 whole new separate movies. Because it got to be a new separate movie. You want to know why? Because it ain't had nothing to do with the first 2.
Oh, wow.
So if I do see it, guess where I'm going to be seeing it at? At home.
What's up, Alton?
Hey, Alton. That's it, because they ain't going to get nothing.
Because the first 2 were good. Okay, so this is that bad.
So if I could step in real quick, just because she done got herself all worked up. So I agree. The first 2 films, 28 days later and 28 weeks later, were actually pretty solid, right?
Yeah.
Let's clear this up. They're not zombies. So what they are is there are people who are infected with a rage virus who they're still alive. They're not dead, right? But they have all of the traits of a zombie, because the big thing about zombies is they're dead, right?
Right.
So I guess in reality, it's easier to kill these things because they're actually people. But unlike in most other zombie films, these things run. So they can chase you down. Okay. We come upon a society. Well, first of all, there's a prologue to this whole thing that has absolutely nothing to do with this film at all.
Wow.
Absolutely nothing.
Wow.
It started off rocky. It started off with some insanity, and it had nothing to do with what the meat of the film was. So, okay, we start out with the ridiculousness. Then we get to, there's a village on an island, and like Amayou said, at high tide, it's covered on all sides by water. But at low tide, there's a land bridge that's there that you can walk across, right? So for whatever reason, they take their, 14, 15-year-olds?
Coming of age children.
They're coming of age. No, I should got my ass to this gym earlier. They have this coming of age ritual where they take 14 and 15-year-olds and they take them during low tide to the mainland to kill the infected, just as a rite of passage. So this kid and his father go to the mainland as a rite of passage. And of course, shenanigans happen. It doesn't go as they expect. They barely escape with their lives. And we discovered that these things have evolved. They have what are called alphas. And I guess they're supposed to be bigger than normal people.
That must be what my FYP must be talking about.
Let me say this. There's a lot of dong in this film.
Clearly, because I haven't even watched it, and TikTok has exploded with this thing.
And the alpha has a lot of dong in this film.
Clearly.
More dong than I want to see, right? So they barely get back. The kid finds out that his father is a cheater and a liar, and his mother is sick. So they discover there's a doctor on the mainland. So the kid takes his mother to the mainland to go see the doctor. stupid shit. Now, the beginning of the film was kind of passable, right? I enjoyed the whole because I enjoyed the first two films. I understand where this was going,
Right.
but then once they start doing stupid zombie kid shit, then it became unbearable, right? He was doing stupid shit to get himself in trouble, to get himself in these situations, and impossibly he would escape. And that's when we meet the doctor, who is played by Ralph Fiennes. I don't know how they got his ass in this movie. And the doctor tells the kid that the running all of us dead had zombies do that do martial arts. Right, exactly. But they're not dead. They're still alive. They're just infected. So they meet up with this doctor. Yeah, kid, your mama's dying. Sorry. So
she got
mom
cancer.
dies.
She's got cancer.
Yeah, she got the doctor determines that she has skin cancer by rubbing her titties or something.
He did rub it.
So the kid then goes back. And I forgot about the pregnant infected. Right. I think in Amayou, I think that the role of the alpha, he impregnated the woman.
Okay.
I think she said, "I don't give a fuck."
So the zombie the woman was a zombie, and
Not a zombie.
I mean, well,
infected.
okay, the infected woman was impregnated by the infected alpha.
Yeah.
In theory.
So
theory.
I guess women's parts work a little different when
because
they're
they never
infected.
tell us. They never tell us. Nothing is explained.
Okay.
So the pregnant infected gives birth while the little kid and his mama is there. Oh, I also forgot to tell you about the soldier who just happened to show the fuck up. They came out of nowhere. Whatever. And the alpha killed the soldier.
Okay.
But the infected pregnant woman gives birth and the baby's normal, supposedly.
Wow.
Okay.
Oh, their head look weird though.
So the kid takes takes the normal baby back to the village, leaves a note and says, "Y'all take the baby. I'm going back out there to do whatever the fuck it is I'm going to do." And so the kid goes back to the mainland, is about to be killed, and then all of a sudden, some little blonde ninjas come out of nowhere.
About 5 of them.
I wish I was exaggerating. These blonde ninjas come out of nowhere and kill all of the infected who are about to eat this kid.
And they had little pole vaults. They was doing backflips off the wall. Like this was just like parkour.
It was
like what?
It was.
Parkour.
It was.
And hold on, I got one for his name is Jimmy. That's
Jimmy.
Ding, ding,
Come to find out that
ding,
this
ding,
part
ding.
is related to the prologue at the start of the film. Now we got that, had a whole 2 hours of nothing about that, and then they tacked us on the end. And that's when I discovered that this is the first part of a trilogy that makes no sense, and they will not get any more money from me.
Okay, so at the expense of spoiling a little more, what do you mean by the blonde ninjas being part of the trilogy? Like, what did they say in the prologue to make this part of it?
That's exactly what happened. No joke. So this guy comes up, Jimmy, blonde-haired Jimmy. So at the beginning of the film, the prologue, we find is Jimmy's story. Jimmy, basically, when the infected descended upon the countryside, his daddy was a preacher, and his daddy was like, "Oh, this is Judgment Day. Come to me, my children. Here, Jimmy, take my cross and run away." And then the infected came and ate his ass.
Okay.
Which had nothing to do with the rest of the film until the end.
Yep.
Okay, so how did it tie in?
At the end of the film, this is some years later, so Jimmy's grown, but now Jimmy has some disciples because he still got his daddy's cross.
Oh boy.
So Jimmy has these people who are blonde-haired and blue-eyed, but they're like ninjas. I don't know what DJ's doing. They got doing backflips off of rocks and shit, and kicking the infected and doing all kind of shit. So, like, I don't know. Yeah.
So basically, it's like a cult type of thing. Is what it ended up being. Okay.
It's giving cult.
See,
and that's where the film ends. Because this is the first chapter in a trilogy.
And see, that's so crazy because the first two literally it showed the degradation of society. You got to see that. But I mean, it literally sat there. Like, for instance, they even spelled it out for people how you got the rage virus and everything. You know, it wasn't even like, 7 seasons later, like on Walking Dead, you had to figure this shit out. But you know what I'm saying? But the thing is that it kept you it just kept you enthralled, especially like one of my favorite scenes from the very first one was when the black, I forget the black chick's name, and the two guys was there, and no sooner than that one guy got infected, she said, "You got bit," and she started swinging that machete, killing that boy, and I was like, that is how you handle a problem. I'm sorry, in a zombie apocalypse, that is how you handle a problem. Okay, you know what I'm saying? Because you instantly turn. You know what I'm saying? You turn like in a matter of what, seconds or whatever it was.
Wait, so she said you got bit? Oh shit!
Yeah, that's exactly how she went at it. She exactly did. No lie, that was 100% how she went. She said what? And she just started wailing on his ass, and it was over.
She handled that shit like black folks would handle it. It was literally like, "Oh, you've been bitten. Okay,
yes, it was over.
Head, you're dead.
It was over.
There's no way."
But the thing is, the rate that they turn is beyond, like, say, you know how on Walking Dead you could be getting sick for days and and all that kind of stuff. No, this was like instant almost. You know what I'm saying?
But that's the issue, that this film, the first two films, they're movies, they're horror movies. Okay,
right,
we get it. There's a suspension of belief, but they made within that world, they made sense.
Right.
This film makes no damn sense at all.
Wow. So this was just a story about a kid.
Yeah.
Okay.
Pretty much. About two kids, Jimmy and Spike. Yeah. The other kid's name is Spike.
Yes, the child name is Spike. Apparently, all the good names got taken, I guess.
Like a Resident Evil Kmart. But anyway, you know what I'm saying? It's like,
so 28 years later is Filth, and don't watch it.
Well,
okay. I'm glad I didn't go back. I didn't, because I was going to go this weekend. I thought about it, and I was like, I don't have time.
You'd be so mad.
Just go outside and watch grass grow.
Okay. I'm not a horror guy, so I was like, just the whole this whole segment and stuff. But it did motivate me to listen. It's Jimmy. It's Jimmy. The J, the I, the M, the M. All right, so
Thank you for that.
At least that motivated me to get into some BDP, baby.
So let's do this, since we're getting close to the witching hour. So Mel, can you run the trailer for Washington Black for us?
You lied to me.
I have hopes for this. I have such high.
I do too. Actually, I do too. I hope this is going to be something great.
Welcome to Halifax. Last stop on the Underground Railroad. Everybody step off with their own story. Boy, do I got one for you. A story about a young man and the boy he used to be.
Tell me your name.
George Washington Black.
How did you do that? He's a clever one, isn't he? You're going to be working with me from here on out.
The clever one, yeah.
We must leave. Do you understand? It is time to fly.
Big fella come in on the ferry looking for a black man. George Washington Black.
We're both dreamers. Can't we dream up a different world? I've been passing as a white woman.
Your marriage to McGee is vital to our survival.
A young woman would burn down the world to find you.
Death can't frighten us.
He ain't gonna leave till the job is done. You are the job.
Surrender to no one.
Only way black folk gonna climb this mountain is if we pull each other along. This just ain't his story. It's our story.
I'm going to change the world.
And that's what you're gonna do.
So can I say something real fast? Hulu is
real
keeping
quick.
our boy Sterling K. Brown employed, okay? Because he just came off
Employed.
of
He's executive producer.
what I'm
This is
saying is
shit.
that Hulu is doing the whole thing. I think they're making sure they're
Oh,
keeping him intact.
okay.
So, but
Okay.
yeah, I mean, but I love Sterling K. Brown, always have. But go ahead, John.
Did anybody else get Sinners vibes from this motherfucker? Because I half expected the white woman to say, well,
No,
you stuck your tongue in my cooch and shit. How you expect me to go away?
I thought you changed your mind. No.
I
But,
mean,
yeah, I thought we need another passing.
you know,
Passing.
but
person.
yeah, that part I understood. She black, a half black maybe woman.
She probably
Half
left.
just like, hey, you
Quadruple.
expected me to go away after that shit you did to me?
Did you identify with that, Nicole? Is that what you're saying?
Oh, well, all I can say is that I hope there ain't no babies in the future. That's going to be a surprise.
So okay, so what are we thinking about this? Because I think I'm going to have an unpopular opinion. But go ahead.
I'm looking forward to it. Now, I say that cautionally because sometimes when they use black people's story, especially during that time, slavery and everything like that, it could get ugly. And a lot of times, sometimes, and this is unpopular with some people, I don't want to see it. It's we've got enough of it out there right now, I think, in some respects. I know people's like, oh, well, that's history. I get it. But if you're doing a story about someone's life that has to do about their growth and so on, does it always have to show so much? You get enough of the time period to know when the time period is. But do we have to see so much of the brutality at the same time? You follow what I'm saying? So sometimes that can be a little much. But I'm actually looking forward to this. One thing I tell people is that when they did the Underground Railroad, as much as people want to hate on whatever side of the tracks you're on, remember, there were some white people that actually legitimately helped to get this off because it would not have worked without the help of some white people involved. Understand that.
Okay.
When they did the Underground Railroad, I'm not saying they was the inventors of all of this. I'm not saying all that, but we did hide. People did hide in their basements. They did hide on properties, and some of it was pushed along.
Nicole is contractually obligated to say that because she's so pale. Go ahead, Amayou.
Yeah, it's that melanin deficiency. I love you. I love you.
Oh, goodness.
I'm good. I'm good. Like,
oh god.
might be one of those shows I would like just let play in the background so the show will get the views.
So she can say she watched it.
I'm not interested. I'm just not.
I get you, bro.
It's supposed to be based on like a partially true story or something.
I don't know, actually. I don't know if I've even heard
Based
of
on
this.
a novel.
Yeah, okay.
Oh, that's based on what? A true story, or is it just a fiction?
No, this is fiction.
Okay.
Man, I thought the autobiography of Miss Jane Pittman was real at one point, so believe me, I don't know.
they took George Washington Carver and they replaced the peanut. They replaced the peanut with a ship, with an air balloon and shit, and then they put in a little bit of
with what?
You know what? You know what? Don't get your history from the show, little kids.
No, but I feel you with that, Amayou. I really do. DJ, what how are you feeling about this?
Magical Negro. Here we go.
That's it, huh? Okay.
I mean, we know all the tropes from the trailer. There's all the different tropes and stuff, and so it's like, okay,
yeah,
if they pull it off and it doesn't go too much this way and it doesn't go too much that way, and it has a good story and all of that, I mean, it remains to be seen. But when we talk about supporting, I mean, Sterling is the executive producer. It's got a black male lead. I mean, it's got it, so watch it, don't watch it, but don't say, oh, I support and you ain't gonna support. So
no, I would say I want to support, but The first thing we talked about today was a young black woman who's a superhero, whose part of her origin story is her
criminality.
Best friend got killed in the shootout, and she got kicked out of school. And now she's part of a gang stealing money. Okay, well, all right. So, and then we have historical fiction about this young man who's growing up, I'm assuming, in slavery. And all of this that we're talking about with Washington Black too, I mean, it's purely, we're guessing at this point because it hasn't been on. But I mean, any black character in that time period, you know they ain't free.
Right.
So, I mean, I'm trying to think of the equivalent of a teenage boy getting bitten by a radioactive spider and becoming a superhero. What is our equivalent to that? Because that teenage boy who got bit by a radioactive spider, he was bullied in school, but nobody got shot. Well, no, Uncle Ben got shot. Okay.
Yeah.
Uncle Ben.
Gun violence.
Uncle Ben got shot.
Remember, a lot of our superheroes did start off with some sort of violence, something in the background, something did happen.
That's true. Bruce
Wayne. But that's why. But that's why I brought up. That's why I brought up Spider-Man in that sense, because even though he's a white kid, he's a poor white kid from from what was it? Yeah, but he's. Was he Brooklyn or was he Bronx?
Yeah, I don't know. I just thought
because in Captain America, Captain America is from Brooklyn, and he says, "Kid, where are you from?" And I think he said the Bronx, and he said Brooklyn, or Queens or something, something of that nature. But anyway, he grew up poor. He did underground fights and shit, and he was, he wasn't the stand-up, superhero. He was passing by people getting their purse snatched or different shit. He was like, hey, that's not my problem. Until Uncle Ben got shot, he was like, fuck, I got to do something about this shit.
So the overarching
FYI,
theme,
Queens.
The overarching theme of this
Queens.
show is you can't have a hero without some kind of
trauma,
tragedy.
Yes.
And the character arc has to be somebody gets fucked up in order for you to become.
Look at Tony Stark. He almost lost his life, and he created his whole image after that.
That's what switched him up. So is there? I mean, without Uncle Rod here, I mean, is there a superhero that didn't have to go through trauma and bullshit to say, you know what, I'm gonna do better, or I'm gonna do something different, I'm gonna help or whatever because of yada yada yada.
Okay,
you know what I'm saying?
Let me say this. Let me say this before we get.
Thor had Loki. He went through a lot of shit.
Let me say this before we get kicked out of here by Mel.
Go ahead.
There is a difference between someone getting a parent or somebody or a guardian getting shot, or there being some kind of mishap where there's a tragic death in your family, and being a billionaire and your weapons being used against you. Even though, but as we come to find out, Tony Stark's parents were killed too. So,
right. His parents were killed too. But not only did Tony Stark almost get killed, he watched the soldiers that were protecting him get killed, and he went to the Muslim camp and saw how they were being mistreated.
Yeah.
And that also affected him. And then the guy who saved his life put his life on the line to save him.
And wasn't it Bucky that killed his parents?
And just like the Oscars, we're getting played out. So anyway, for the missing Uncle Rod and Uncle Percy, thank you to Uncle DJay, Auntie Nicole, Cuzzin Amayou, and super producer Mel. Thank you all for watching Grumpy Old Nerds. We're here every Thursday-ish.
I'm watching Love Island now.
Oh, God. 8:30, 7:30 Central.
Of course you are.
I've been seeing that on my FYP, too.
No.
See y'all.